what is happening? What is happening over at these manufacturing facilities? All right, I want to spend 10 minutes on this. 5 minutes on this one, 5 minutes on the next one. So this is some of the steel industry plants that have been decimated in certain cities that now are speaking about what they feel like is happening with the Trump tariffs. Check it out.
President Trump is defending his 25% tariff on steel imports, claiming they're bringing trillions of dollars of businesses back to the U.S. This comes as the impacts of those tariffs are already being felt in places like Ohio, where many workers rely on the steel industry. Jason Carroll is out front.
I'm very optimistic, and I agree.
You're optimistic?
I am. I'm extremely optimistic.
Optimistic? Not.
Big dog ain't missing no meals, did he? Got that trucker. I always wonder how people centralize what they eat, and when they gain weight, it don't proportionately distribute to other parts of your body. Like it's supposed to go to your arms, your fingers, your hands. But for whatever reason, some of these people, it gets stuck right at the belly. It never goes into the feet. And people be like, they be Mr. Incredible. You know what I'm saying? They have really, really teeny tiny legs and have a huge trucker belly. Why didn't that food distribute itself more proportionately to the rest of the body? I don't understand how people have little legs and big old stomachs. That is so weird to me.
The word some might use to describe their outlook on the economy, given all the back and forth with tariffs. But here at Swanton Welding, just outside Toledo, Ohio, the company's owner, Norman Zeiter, says thanks to Trump's tariff tactics, he and his workers are feeling good about the future of the business, despite all the ups and downs on Wall Street.
Wall Street affects us to a certain extent, but not a lot.
Welders.
Oh, they wasn't expecting that. They went into the factory thinking that they was going to be against the Trump administration and against small business. Guess what? They're feeling optimistic. I wonder why.
Like Ethan Sanderson, also feeling bullish, hoping all that is happening with tariffs will eventually mean more work and income for people like him, which cannot come soon enough, given he's about to be a new father.
Once everything gets sorted out, that it'll help us out in the long run.
Swanton Welding has been a part of this community since Zeiter's grandfather, a World War II veteran, started it back in 1956 with just $100 in his pocket. Maintaining it has been tough. The U.S. Steel and wide swaths of the manufacturing industry have been on the decline for decades due to factors such as declining demand and the inability to compete in global markets. Toledo once buzzed during the steel manufacturing heyday in the 1950s. Now, the unemployment rate is 6.6%, compared to the national average of 4.1%.
We're one of the last standing ones in this area.
Still standing and getting a boost from Trump's tactics. Zeiter says 5 international companies have already reached out to do business.
We had Italy, we had France, we had Great Britain. We had a Canadian company reach out to us.
You had a Canadian company?
Yes.
He says it's the first time in 70 years a Canadian company has called wanting to work with them.
Oh, so Trump's tariffs are helping businesses in middle America. A lot of times we get very, very caught up in Wall Street. Wall Street. Hey, what's happening on Wall Street? Wall Street. Let me ask some of y'all a question that always is asking me about and talking about Wall Street and haven't even seen the movie Wall Street. How many of y'all actually been on Wall Street? How many of you ever been within 100 feet of the U.S. Stock Exchange? How many of you guys actually even understand how banks work? How many of you guys actually fully funded your 401k last year? The heartbeat of America and what really drove this country to be successful is small business. It wasn't Wall Street. And I'll give you another open secret. Guess what? Wall Street is going to be just fine. Nobody is worried about finance bros. Nobody is worried about what's happening over at Bank of America. Nobody is scared about what's happening over at Chase, Wealth Investments. Nobody is worried about Comerica. Nobody is worried about any of these places. Wall Street is going to be just fine. What we need to be focusing on 100% is middle America and small towns such as Toledo, Ohio, and all of these other places, in these places that actually employ and put food on the table for people in the local economy. That is where we need to be focused. And if we are not driving towards that, and Trump's tariffs are 100% focused on helping middle America survive, thrive, and then expand, that is where we need to be putting all of our energy. But we are so short-sighted and we got these short-term memories. We almost need to bring back Vine. I think Vine would absolutely hit in this economy.
Across town at Wurzel's bike shop, owner Jill Wurzel also has heard from an overseas distributor.
I just got that a few minutes ago before you came in, and I was reading it and I about had a heart attack.
Wurzel received an email from a Taiwanese company informing her if tariffs do go into effect, she may have to pay an increase of up to 79%.
That's a huge impact on a small business.
She buys from China, Taiwan, and Cambodia and worries how tariffs would impact costs to customers and her ability to maintain her staff.
Payroll would be reduced and somebody might lose their job, or a full-time person will be part-time.
The Wurzel family has been in the bike business for 80 years since her grandfather founded it in 1945. The threat of
But Schwinn, let me see something. Schwinn, I thought that Schwinn was always an American company. But Schwinn, for example, is an original American bike brand. But they don't want to sell Schwinns no more. They want to sell them as cheap as possible in order to increase the margins. They don't want to sell actual quality bicycles. They want to sell this crap that gets imported over to the United States of America and then open up a business and then say, we're an American business that sell all Chinese and Cambodian products.
Tariffs now a concern for a new generation of employees. Wurzel's nephew and his wife just quit their jobs a few weeks ago to join the family business.
We're a little bit nervous, but we trust in Jill. We know that she knows this business really well.
Back at Swanton Welding, also a new generation, one hoping Trump's tactics will benefit their industry. Allison Fagerman is an 18-year-old welder who works with her father.
I'm hoping that it gets better, and I'm sure it will. I feel like we're on a bumpy road, and eventually we'll get to a smoother road.
Jason Carroll, CNN, Toledo, Ohio.
So that is what's happening over in a lot of these industries that were being affected by the Biden administration and administrations before them. But now we are trying to bolster them up. On the flip side, this is what's happening with American manufacturers that do not manufacture cars inside of the United States of America. Now, I don't feel like pulling it back up. Anyways, the point that I'm making is that we have to support American brands. It is nothing wrong with supporting things that are made in the United States of America. I personally am pledging to not buy anything that I know as far as different manufactured products. Let me not say that, because I think that people should be able to buy whatever it is that they want to buy. So buy what you want to buy. If you decide to buy something that has a tariff on it, just be willing to pay the price and the difference that is then sent to you. For me in particular, I am going to focus more. I'm not going to say completely at all. I'm not going to say completely at all. I don't want to make that level of definitive. I am going to spend more of my time researching and buying things and being very diligent in what I purchase here in the United States of America to buy from manufacturers here in America. I plan on buying a new electric bike, just to get around a little bit in the city, and then I park it inside of my actual residence inside of my apartment down here in downtown. And so I plan on buying a new electric bike. And so I've been researching to see which bikes are made here inside of the United States of America. If you guys decide that you want to buy a luxury brand from China, then you're just going to have to pay the difference. If you want to buy a luxury brand from Europe, then you're just going to have to pay the difference. Pay the tariff. It's certain cars that I want that is going to be shipped over here from the factory, from certain places. I'm not going to say it. Y'all just going to see it when it pop up. And if it's a tariff and if it's a markup on it, I should be willing to pay the price. But I'm also purchasing vehicles, and I have 4 different American-made vehicles inside of my driveway also. So I want both. And if I'm willing to have both, then I should be willing to pay the tariff on top of it. That's all I'm saying. Somebody said, what happened to your old bike? I gave it away. Gave it away to somebody else that I thought that really needed it. I am a compassionate person.